Hey, that's up on the screen. Where's everybody? You're the only one sitting in the front row, patients. There's nobody else behind you for the next 2 rows. What do you guys think this is church? You know, they come back with a basket and they ask for donations all the way to the back. Did you guys hear? I don't know where it was, someplace in Elizabethtown or someplace like that. A church actually got a letter from their minister to send gift cards so that they could help some needy families in the church. Does that sound like a scam?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Definitely a scam.
Cool. Now we're starting to crowd up here. That's cool. But anyways, that was weird. So talk about hitting a bunch of old people with a guilty conscience.
Oh, yeah.
So needless to say, the Attorney General is like, that's a scam, and the FCC's on it, and everybody's trying to, not the FCC, it is illegal stuff. FCC's communication. I don't know who the Fed, whatever federal agency is doing that. So, all right. So, a couple of things before we get started into the message today. That Excel spreadsheet, I admit it sucks. And I could have done it better. But here's what I think I'm going to do. I extended the deadline to Thursday night. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan the problem, the example problem out of the textbook that I built it around, and give it to you as a scanned problem so you can understand it. Okay? Fair chance of everybody passing this course down the road. You can screw up on your own test. But I'd like to give you a test sometime in the next week or so. So we've got to get to the point where we've got something to really do besides, what are all these multiple choice questions doing here from the beginning of the semester? Be nice, right? Because you want math to do. So bad. Sad part is imagine doing the accounting and you can't understand accounting. So I think it's worth you doing some things like that. Because my intent is this. When I get around to giving you a test, it would have been sooner than later, but it's going to be later now than sooner, was to set up a problem where something's not right in the middle of it and have you find it, okay, and identify this is where the problem is. Kind of like what accountants do, okay, your bookkeeper, okay. But until you can understand how to do it, we can't do that. So I think the trick is, I'll give you the example. You got it free and clear. You can see exactly what I followed and maybe make some sense out of that spreadsheet. And then the other thing I got is I did get a copy of the AIA scheduling pieces, so I think we're good there. Now, where are we? What's that? On scheduling, yeah. Of course, I was flipping through my notes and I messed them all up this weekend.
We got the Gantt chart.
Yeah, we talked about that. That actually helped turn them in the right way. We talked about critical path, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in order to do critical path, I want to give you some rules that go with it. Yes, this is where I want to start. Okay. The hell was I writing in here? Oh, no, I want to cover one other thing before we get into that. So Gantt chart is the way to make the schedules make sequential time sense. Okay. The other little trick before we get to critical path is I forgot to talk about to-do lists. How many people make a to-do list? Do you find them useful?
Mm-hmm. I actually use it.
Cool. Why not, Brian?
I never looked at it.
Man, you should come sit in my office. What's your reason, Jake?
If I actually use it, it helps. If I don't look at it, then it's not useful at all.
Okay. Who else? Go ahead, Brian.
Why do I use it?
Do you use one? Do you find it helpful? How do you make it helpful?
Like, for assignments, I'll like add dates, or if he picks up enough from the store, I'll add like dates or times or whatever to help with.
Okay. Anybody else use a to-do list? Go ahead.
I just find it easier to see things when I write them down, see them in front of me, so I can see, build a schedule around that.
Okay.
When I'm working on something in my house and I need to go to Lowe's for like 75 different single things, but I don't want to go back 5 times and then I end up I make the to-do list. So I have everything down, but so then I only end up going back to Lowe's like 3 times or so, which is better than 5.
I'm with you.
So,
but I think that's more of a shopping list.
well, yeah, but that's the to-do list, right? Buy this, buy that, buy this.
Yeah, okay. I'll buy that.
I do a to-do list, and if I forget to do stuff on it, I leave insults next to the things that I forgot to do. So it's like, if I had to do, so I don't try to put all my homework for Sunday, I try to do it throughout the week. And if I lazy and don't do stuff, I just write little notes next to it saying, you forgot to do this, dumbass. So you do that.
That's cool. So you get in a car accident and everybody reads your to-do list and finds out you were swearing at yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the dark. Like,
In the dark. Yeah.
At night.
They won't be too surprised.
Now, I think there's probably something we could say about that from a psychological standpoint. You probably shouldn't swear at yourself because, you'll go to your next life and there would be something left in this life that people go.
Right, that's what you'll remember.
Yeah.
Hydraulics.
That's what you'll be remembered for. Okay, so to-do lists are great, but here's some hints on to-do lists, okay? And trust me, I have done to-do lists until my life is blue. Matter of fact, let's have a little example here. Where is my to-do list here? Right there. So literally. Yeah. That one was something I started in December. Was going to have done before the semester started. Yeah, I haven't gotten to that one. Messina High School agreement. That one's kind of working on, but not fully worked on. Okay. North End classroom locks stay open till 8 p.m. So all these card swipe access rooms down through here. Do you think I could spend 5 minutes and just send an email to facilities and say, instead of having them lock at 5 o'clock and there's classes running till 6 o'clock and students go out and get locked out of the room, can we leave it open till like 8 o'clock? That way no one goes to the bathroom and can't get back into the class. What a stupid policy. But I haven't done that. Okay. So literally looking at my to-do list, you can see all the crap I don't get done. Okay. Now, some of it's my own damn fault. Although I do maybe I should leave little sarcastic notes to myself.
It works.
Does it?
really does work.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have a new little bit here. But anyways, to-do list. All right. So let's say one of your to-do lists is to check on the paint. Check on paint. Okay. And you can do all kinds of things. I like to do this. I think you should blow that back out here. Give yourself a box out in front. Okay. So when you're out shopping, Owen, you can click it off. Okay. I love my wife's grocery list. It doesn't come with a box on it. I just have a scattered set of notes all over the page, depending on what it was and where it fit. Okay. And I literally stand in the grocery store with my pen going, strike out, strike out.
Remember to bring the pen? That makes it a lot easier. I usually forget.
Well, I'm usually picking it up on the way home from school, and guess what's in my pocket? But if you're making an official to-do list, put yourself a little box around it, okay? And this is something that I learned a long time ago. And if you looked at my desk, now that I have the electronic to-do list, I got the most recent to-do list, which are yellow sheets of paper, so I can find them on my desk. And there are about 20 sheets in there right now. Okay. Every once in a while, I sit down and sort through them and figure out which ones I already did. But I never mark them off. I just keep adding to the list. But here's what I like to do. So when you get your box there, I can put a slash through it if it's in progress. Okay. I can put a check if it's completed. Okay. Or you could be the person that basically goes through check, paint, crosses it out. Okay. Great. Trust me, there are books written on how to do to-do lists. Okay. I have read almost every one of them. The closest one I ever liked was Stephen Covey. Okay, 7 Habits of Successful People. Great book. Basically, when I got done, I realized he told us what he did for his PhD dissertation. It's like, cool. And then I practiced for a while and then stopped. But there's a whole set of books out there on the Franklin Covey procedure for staying organized. Okay, and they literally sell you calendar books with to-do lists in it and then check boxes for work completed. If you ever master that sucker, you've gone to an entire school at Franklin Covey. Okay, and you are a Franklin Covey convert. Okay, so talk about a cult of to-do. Okay, never been there. But I did have the opportunity one time to actually go to that training in one of my previous careers, and it wasn't all that exciting. Okay, but I do like, and I got this from a friend of mine who says, you know, when you do those to-do lists in your book, Mike, why don't you just put a box around it, or a little box, and then you can know you checked it off. It's like, cool, because I would go back and look at the book, going, okay, I got to get this done today. Now, it's always find the shortest thing you can do and do it in 5 minutes and get it done. Okay. How else can you help yourself organize? Okay. Put priorities to it. So if we do task 1 is to check on paint. And I probably should spend a little more time defining what I'm checking on paint for, but just generally a task, okay? And I have task 2 that is paintbrush cleaning. Okay. I can do a few things like this. I can prioritize with an A through D schedule. A are things that must be done. And not just anytime, but today. Okay. B
Miracle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Miracle is overtime.
No, not actually. I'll explain why in a minute, Jake. Okay. A, it's got to be done today. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So put your heart and soul into getting that done. B, it should be done today, but if it goes off till tomorrow, it's like, okay. So end of the day, we still got to go get some more fittings for something, not going back to Lowe's tonight because it's too much of a drive and I'm tired. C, hope to get it done today. There's a few definitions in here we can always define a little bit tighter. And D, a miracle happens. It will get accomplished. But I do mean a miracle. Like extra bodies showed up to do something for me, or the entire Lowe's store was just brought to my doorstep. Okay? That won't work. Okay? Now, when you do these, you wind up making this. You get an A1. You get a C2, so on down the way. So you put your letter in front of the task that you're trying to do. And what you get done is you're going to have another task down there that says A4. Okay? A1 should be your top priority. A4 should be within your next priority. Okay? So that you always get yourself thinking what's got to get done today. The other trick is you got to be really good at time management. Find yourself a little bit of free time when you got 5 minutes between things. Do something. Okay? As an example, this morning when I came in this morning, first thing I had to write a letter to support a grant that we're writing. I needed to get it done. It's been on my to-do list since Friday. It was a priority. I accomplished it. It took me 10 minutes to write the letter. Okay? 5 minutes to give it to Jennifer, sign it, have it scanned in, and sent off to where it's got to go. That was done. But that's how you got to get yourself into that focus. Okay? And if it helps to be dumb and swear at yourself because you don't get it done, go for it. But that way you can give yourself some breathing room on the things that are really important. And then I like to do is you can recycle those down to the C's down below, and they become C1, C2, C3 out of the original list. Okay. Now, somebody actually alluded to it in here today was that you actually sit down and plan when your homework's going to be. Make that your to-do list. Okay. Another task or trick that will help with anything, whether it's your homework or actually construction management, is either at the end of the week or very first thing on Monday morning, you sit down and you keep yourself quiet for 30 minutes. And what you're working on is what are the things that have to be done today? Okay. Now, I find that very hard to do on Monday morning because Monday morning everybody comes in and goes, hey, I need such and such, or I got to have that, and I got to have this, and this is where you're going, Jake. So you get all these urgent crises that pop up right away, okay? Either you're really good at ignoring them, but it's going to piss somebody off, but then it adds more to your to-do list for the day, okay? Which probably, because it's a crisis for them, is their urgency, which needs to be an A on your list, because D is not going to happen, okay? A D is actually, in that case, Don's request for something, paint, he needs the paint, or needs primer, okay? Is somebody just shows up with the primer and I don't have to deal with it. That's a D, okay? I didn't even ask for it, didn't tell anybody, it just didn't happen. He went and found his own primer, okay? So you have to be careful with to-do lists because what will happen is the urgent crisis of that moment will step all over your to-do list. Okay. I find the best way to plan for things is take some time Friday afternoon and lock yourself away and we'll think through it. Or the way my life goes around here, I do it in the weekend. Okay. Fair? Cool. All right. Now, one other thing that we should deal with is this, how to prioritize things. So I'm going to give you a little chart here. And you went to sleep again. All right. Oh, I should put the title down. And this is actually Stephen Covey. Which, to get a doctor in time management, picture that, the life. And he went to Hawaii, spent time on an island in Hawaii, and drove around the pineapple orchards while he was thinking about all the things he wanted to tell people. Now that's the way I want to do my PhD. So now I've done my PhD, because that didn't get me anywhere. But here's the thing. If you think of these things, then you know what you're focusing on. Okay? And what you really want to focus on are 1 and 3 over 2 and 4. Okay? And it sounds stupid. You think 1 and 2 should be the priority. You should have went 1 down 2. He didn't. He did it this way. Pretty much the world's accepted his time management matrix as what it is. So focus on 1 and 3. Then you can get to 2, and then 4 if it's really something you want to do. Fair enough? Okay. Now, I will pass on another piece of Covey wisdom. You have to choose what is a priority for you personally. Okay. So, construction management, you're dealing with a lot of different people, a lot of different priorities, and you got to sort out which one's which. Okay. And how do you get to do it? Well, what are the things that advance you in your job to move forward? Don't choose the dumb things that are just responding to everybody else's stuff. So when you choose, I use the knight from the Holy Grail and that was that movie.
Monty Python?
No, not Monty Python.
Another Holy Grail movie with that?
No, but they were going after the Holy Grail, and it was
Are you talking about Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones. Thank you. I'll tell you a short story here about Indiana Jones too. The old knight tells Indy, choose wisely, and the bad guy chooses unwisely. You got to choose for yourself. You got to choose things that you value. Okay, you with me? I try to make them so that you apply to your job and just don't choose to go gamble every 5 minutes on the computer. That'd be a bad use of your time related to your work. You will be fired and you'll go on. All right. They'll go on without you. But anyways, focus on 1 and 3. Now, urgent. And I'll get back to Indiana Jones in a minute here. Urgent. Those are the things that have to get done. And important is because that's critical to the sequence of production going on. Okay. Urgent can still be not important, but it's one of those things, if I don't deal with it today, I'm probably not going to get the response I'm looking for later. Okay? Where 2 is not urgent but important, it means it's important that I talk to the supplier, but I don't need to do it today. Okay? I can talk to them tomorrow and the world's still go on, and no problem. And 4 literally is, it's not urgent, it's not important. What the hell is it on my to-do list for? You know? I don't care if Don wants to go get his primer. You know, he's the contractor doing the paint job. He can go pick up primer. I don't need to babysit him. Okay. So focus on the left-hand columns, then move over to the right as you go through it. Okay. Indiana Jones. So little story. I worked with a president that basically thought every person when they enter a room should have a theme song running through their head. His was the Darth Vader theme song. Okay, and he wasn't really Darth Vader, but that set him up for how he's going to present himself in the meeting. Dun, 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 dun. You know, so no joke. I played it for him one time as he walked in the room. It was like coolest thing you can do with an iPad. Mine is Indiana Jones. Okay, so choose wisely. Anyway, that being said, everybody good on to-do lists? Lots of ways to use them, lots of things you can never read about it. Don't get carried away. Best thing is, if you're going to use a to-do list, it's because you're managing things you got to get done today. Now, you got your Gantt chart, tells you what the sequence of time events should be. But what are the things I want to accomplish today? Who do I need to talk to? What are my priorities? Go ahead.
So you shouldn't use a for to-do list. You shouldn't do it like weekly. You should probably try to do it daily.
Yes.
Um,
Now, weekly I build one so I know what's coming because I can plan ahead and I can figure out what's my weekly priority. But daily, I want to take a look at it, which is where I fall down, is I don't always look at my to-do list. I walk in, someone hands me a crisis first thing in the morning, and I'm screwed after that. Okay. Actually, I had one of the former deans here telling me, it's like, oh yeah, I used to make to-do lists too, and then I gave up. And it's like, why, Ken? Well, 'cause I never got them done. Like, but that's not a reason not to use a to-do list. Okay? If you're not getting them done, you're probably not focusing well enough on keeping track of them in your head. And the other thing is I can tell you that I got my to-do list in my head all the time, and I'm running through it. I just try to find a way to put it down on something. Cool. I think we're good there. Sweet. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, complete change of topic, but in critical path management. All right, we have one. Okay, and I'll show you examples of these here in a minute. But so one of the ways to do this is we're going to put two activities on a page, and we're going to draw an arrow between them. And the arrow going between them is what the activity is. So node 1, node 2. Activity in between, down, priming the wall. Okay. And then sometimes we actually need a dummy activity in there to have it make any sense. Okay. So the dummy activity's got to get identified as that's a dummy, don't do it, just holding a place. Okay. The one I prefer and one I like is activity on the node. And the benefit of this one is the boxes okay. So far, so good? Anybody ever did construction management before and played with these things? Cool. you got questions, ask. Okay, 'cause it's not like this is an interesting topic, and I do like doing it, but some people have different ways of doing it. Okay, so you good? So let's talk about the activity on the arrow first, so you can see how that works. So we're going to do A, OA, and I'm going to put in start point. Okay. And I'm going to put in a node here. I'm going to put a node there. Hello. This is he. Yep. That's about what I would have guessed. Quite remember.
I've heard it so many times. It kind of became more famous.
Yeah, I guess.
Is that right? Want to name something in particular, or just gonna say?
Fantastic. I've never had a single bad meal.
Well, if that's what it is, then I understand why I wrote it. That makes sense.
Someone could tell you, like, it's like, oh yeah, I saw the pyramids of Giza. And you'd be like, yeah, so?
Yeah, I feel like what? They're just a bunch of triangles.
Triangles.
Triangles in the desert. That is what I would say. I would say, and how much did you pay to see those pyramids?
Can't be cheap. There's no way.
Someone would be like, yeah, I saw the Colosseum. Be like, yeah, big giant half-eaten donut in the middle of the
Hey, want something crazy?
There it is. It's right there.
It cost me a fucking dime now, did it?
You are impossible. How are you already like 3 years old spiritual? Like, you're not even 20.
Takes one to know one, though.
Oh my god.
The North Country heart is people.
Another country makes you feel stupid.
It rapidly ages you.
I mean, it does.
The weather.
Actually, I'm going to steer you a test. Matt, if someone would be like, hey, I went to see the pyramids.
Sorry about that, folks.
Would you be jealous? Yeah.
Okay. So
Man, I wish I was there. No, you wouldn't. Okay, cool.
we're going to put another node right there. And then we got a node here. And one over here. And one down here. And then we got an end. Okay. So it looks like this. This is node 1. This is going to be 2. This will be 3. This will be number 6. 5. I missed a 4 in here someplace.
This is the cutting edge of the industry right now.
Yeah.
You're at that level?
7. Actually, believe it or not, there's a whole, if you've ever taken graph theory, there's a whole math science behind this stuff.
We're just skipping 4 then?
Who needs?
Yeah, I don't know where 4 is. It's not on my page. But we don't care. Because what we're really interested in is this. So we got an activity here. And we come from the start, we go there. Okay? 4 must be over here. Because I go over and down to 5. Okay?
You go from 2 to 4.
And then I go from here to 3. Let's get that straight line. Yeah, and I'll explain why here in a minute. And 3 goes to 5. And then we can do this one down to 6. 6 goes over and ends up at 5. And then over and then over. Okay, so those are the arrows we have. And I think for our sanity, I'm going to put some labels in red here. All right, so this one actually takes 2 days to do, from 1 to 2. And this is going to be activity A. And this is to excavate the dirt. Okay. And B down here build forms. Okay. And C So everybody following along so far?
What is deep? Fine what?
Fine grading. Fine grade this soil. So we excavated, then we actually put the stone back in place. F. What do you got, Mia? C is procure reinforced steel. So rebar.
So the individual line segments are each split up because we can do them at the same time.
Yep.
So you can excavate, you can't fine grade at the same time. So they're in one line.
Right.
So you can build the forms and excavate at the same time. So they're in sets of lines. So
Cool. So far, so good. You want to teach?
no, not a chapter.
I think you nailed that right in the head.
Well,
Now, here's the downside of this. Actually, so the upside and downside. One, is you look at the from 1 to 4, 1, 2, and 4, those arrows across there, that's 4 days. Okay. But then if I go from the start to 3 and 5, that's actually 5 days. Okay. And then 6 I can do in a day. Okay. The parallel paths are important because those are things that are related to one another, and the series events have to be done in series, or you can't do it. But it doesn't give you a realistic view of the time it takes to do things. Okay? So you wind up doing a little bit more intuitive thinking about what it is. There is a reason for using arrow or activity on arrow, and that is to get a good sketch out of what it's supposed to look like. Okay? So you know what are the events that have to be in series, and what are the events that can run parallel to one another. Now, not my favorite one. Honestly, I don't even do it anymore. I just skip that one altogether and go to the next one. The next one, let's change back to black. This one's a little more interesting and a little bit more complicated, but I'll get you started here. We'll see how far we can go today. Every node has a box. Okay? And the arrows aren't the activities, the boxes are the activities. Okay? Now, to do this, I'm going to be nice to myself and use a ruler. Half of engineering is artwork. Did anybody ever tell you that? Can you communicate in a manner that everybody can follow? Now this pattern just happens to come out of the book we're using, or the book I'm referencing. But they can look like something different. But generally, they are this. Okay. This box is so in this box, on each of these nodes, we're going to put the following things in there. It'd be nice, you stupid machine. It'd be nice if we knew when we could start. The earliest date we could start. Okay? Because if we could start early, that'd be great. What's the latest date we can start is important if I got a sequential event ahead of it that has to be done before anything else happens. Okay. The early finish, it'd be nice to have an early finish because then we can speed up our timeline a little bit. But then we also want to look for late finishes. We're going to try and hit between those two. And we're going to have some things called float here in a bit, where we actually float the dates on part of these nodes. And then the top center is the ID for the activity. Could be P1 for painting, okay? P2 for trim colors, okay, something like that. Then the duration, how long does it take Dom to actually paint the wall in this room? About a minute. Using the Mythbuster method of high explosives and splattering the paint everywhere.
No, just
It's just
good. Just raw power. Just raw power.
raw tail.
Cool. I want to see that mess. So we got the duration, and the last one is resources related to it. Okay. All the things you need to know about the project for that particular activity is in these boxes. Okay. Now, that's all said and great. But we have to play along with these. So we have sequential events. And that is A going to B. Oh, I forgot something up here too. Sorry, can I take you back for a minute? I said dummy on the activity on the arrows, having to create some dummy activities. So if you want to get from 2 to 3, you literally have to do a dash line. Okay? And that's a dummy. With me? I'm sorry, I missed that. So we're just going to talk about dummy projects here. Yeah. Well, because I want the connectivity between when the excavation ends and the fine grading starts. Okay, so I can't put the forms in place until I've laid down the crushed stone in the bottom of the footer.
Okay.
Okay, so they have to be I'm going to use the academic term, co-requisites. That's not the word I want to use. They have to be done at the same time. So I can put the forms in as soon as there's 25 feet of grading done and the footer, and they're working on the other side. So I can have a crew come in and start putting the forms in because they got that graded out. The surveyors are okay with it. Everything's compacted right, and they've moved on to the other wall of the building. So I can have the contractor come in and put the forms in place. You with me? Yeah. Okay. That's why this thing actually sucks in general, because it doesn't really give you true sequences. Okay. All right. Anyways, back to the nodes on boxes. So sequential events, A to B. And here's the thing you can't do. B cannot start until A is finished. Okay. And I think we'll stop there. We got a lot more of those to do. This is the logic too behind all the doing that stuff. Okay, Mia and a few others that came in late. I'm going to scan the example problem that I used for that spreadsheet. I'm going to give that to you. Because I want you to figure out how to use it so that I can give you a problem that says, in the 6 months here, one of these months is wrong. What's wrong? Okay. So I'll give you that hopefully before the end of the day. I also moved the due date to end of midnight on Thursday. But if you still want help, I'll help you with it.
About that submission, I didn't send it in Excel. Did you want the Excel as well? I only sent it on paper.
I'll take it any way you can give it to me.
I scanned it and I sent it in, so you should have it. If
Okay.
not, let me know. I'll email it to you.